Hello class, welcome to today's segment whereby we are going to be talking about things to note in the IELTS listening test. Well, the format of this video is going to be the same as the last one, whereby I'm going to be reading a point from my book and explaining it detail by detail. So let's get right into it. The first thing to note is that in multiple choices type of questions, cancel out wrong answers as you note them. What does this mean? This means that, for example, you are in a section whereby the type of question is multiple choice. What does multiple choice means? It means like there's a question and then there's A, B, C, D. So you either choose A as the answer, B or as the answer, C as the answer, or D as the answer. So as the audio is going on, you've already read the question and you anticipate what the answer is supposed to be. So as the audio is going on, for example, you note that question A is wrong. It's clearly wrong. Do not just place it in your mind. Immediately cancel out answer A. As you go on, you realize answer C is wrong. You should cancel out answer C. As you go on, you realize answer B is wrong. Cancel out answer B. And you are left with answer D. This also helps when sometimes you may have cancelled out maybe two answers, and then as the audio goes on, you unfortunately do not get a clear answer from the audio. Maybe it has passed you by, or maybe you did not clearly understand what the narrator was saying, so unfortunately it has passed you. So you've been left with the answer at least C or D. So over here you're going to be making an educated guess. What is an educated guess? An educated guess is a guess that has some strategy. You've not just chosen an answer from the blues. So if maybe you've been left with C or D, according to the context of the questions, you're going to make a strategic choice as per the context of the audio. So you can either choose C or D. At least it helps you increase your chances of having a right answer if you had missed an accurate answer. Yes. The second thing to note is that in fill in the gaps types of questions. What does fill in the gaps mean? Fill in the gaps is whereby there is a paragraph, but between the paragraph there are some missing words. So what you have to do is go on filling the missing information in that paragraph. Yes. So in filling the gaps, write the first answer you think is true, then cancel out if another answer comes along. Ensure you do not leave out a blank gap. This increases your chances. Answers should not be random. They should be based on correct analysis. This point emphasizes on our first point, but let us also focus on filling in the gaps types of questions. So what does this mean? It means that, for example, the audio is going on and you're supposed to fill in an answer in a gap. Yes? So you might think you've had the correct answer. Maybe you think the answer is book. That's the answer you have gathered so far. Do not let that answer you think is the answer pass you by. Just write it down, even if it's in your rough paper, and then as the audio continues, you're going to confirm if there's any other suitable answer other than this answer you've written. If you find any other suitable answer, then you're going to write the second answer. Have you understood what I mean? I mean, if you think this is the answer, maybe the audio is going on and then you've spotted maybe the answer is pen. This is just an example. You spotted the answer is pen, so you fill in pen. But as the audio continues, still continue listening in keenly, because sometimes you might have mistaken an answer. So still keenly continue looking for the most suitable answer. If you find that there's no other suitable answer, then you're going to go with your first answer. But as the audio goes on and you realize actually the answer may not be pen, it might be pencil, you write down pencil. So never let an answer pass you by. Even if you're not sure if that's the answer, just write it down. It might be the answer. But as you go on, you might find out that is not the answer, so you'll change it. But if you go on and then you realize the answer that you had first thought is the answer was the actual answer and you had not wrote it down, then you lose. The trick in listening is not to let any question go unanswered. You rather write down what you think is the answer rather than leaving a blank space. This is because a blank space, it's obvious you're not going to get a right mark. But if you fill in an answer that is suitable, then that might be the correct answer. So it's a win for you. Yes. We had already talked about this. This is in process type of questions. Process type of questions are those questions whereby the audio describes a certain process. It can be a process about making clay, how maybe a certain machine works, or maybe giving direction from maybe a library to the washroom, something like that. So in those types of questions, be very keen, as you can easily be confused on directions. So be very keen on direction. That is east, west, north, south, left and right. And also the starting point of that process or diagram. Yes. Knowing keywords in the questions allows you to know when you have moved to the next question. Keyword in a question. What does a keyword mean? Once you read a certain question, you should be able to note down what is the thing you should be looking out for on the audio. For example, the audio goes like, hello. The question is something like, the question is something like, the name of the school is dash. And then in the audio, you know very well that you're looking for name of something. You're looking for the name of something because the question states the name of the school is dash. So in this case, you're very sure you're looking for the name of something. So in the audio, you can listen, and then once you hear that they've begun talking about names of places, then you know that your answer is almost being mentioned. So the keyword in that question is name. Have you understood? So in every question, note out the keyword. We are going to emphasize on this on the live classes. In each question, we'll underline our keyword and also note the same keyword on the audio so that we can know this was our keyword and our keyword was mentioned on the audio. So that means that our answer is almost being mentioned. So keywords in every question are crucial. Noting keywords in every question is crucial. Yes. Capitalization. Use correct capitalization in every type of answer you give. E.g., use a capital letter in the beginning of a name, city, or beginning of a sentence, etc. Use small letter in the middle of a sentence, etc. I am sure that all of us know about capitalization, in that we all know that in the beginning of a sentence you should use a capital letter. If a certain answer is a noun, you use a capital letter. If a certain answer is the name of a person, name of a place, you use a capital letter. If your answer is in the middle of a sentence, you use small letters, like the beginning of the word is a small letter. So capitalizations are crucial in listening. Capitalization and plurals especially. The answer, maybe the audio has talked about pens, and you go and write your answer as pen. Rest assured you're going to fail that question. If the answer is in plural, write it down in plural. If it is in singular form, write it down in singular form. Write what the narrator has talked about. If the narrator has talked about t-shirts and then you write t-shirt, rest assured your answer is going to be wrong. So take capitalization and plural and singular forms very seriously. Don't write just a right answer but in the wrong capitalization or in the wrong singular or plural form. So capitalization is very important, and plurals. Yes. Be very keen on word count. If instructions say at least 3 words, it's obvious that there is an answer that requires 3-word answer. But not all answers in the question that will be 3-word count. In our practice tests, we are going to come across instructions. And instructions in each sections are different. You might find a section whereby the instruction is your answer should not exceed 2 words. In another section, the instructions can be your answer should not exceed 3 words. In another section, your answer should not exceed 1 word. So even before you begin your listening, your section, that time given to look at the questions, always use it to read the instructions of that section. Let not a section say that use only 1 word and you go ahead and use 2-word answers. Always take note of that. But if you see a section has stated that 3-word answers are required, that does not mean that every answer is 3-worded. It just means that there's a question whose answer is at least 3 words. So in this case, there are usually instructions such as at least 3 words, not more than 3 words. So it will depend on the instructions given. If it's at least 3 words, you know that each question requires 3 words. If it is not more than 1 word, it means that every question needs 1 word. So it just depends on your instructions. Always follow instructions of a certain section. Please, this is very important. You can listen to the audio correctly, you can have all the right answers, but if you go on adding other words that are not necessary, for example, the name of the school is Angela Junior School. Maybe the instructions of this question was do not use more than 2 words. So once you say Angela Junior School, it will automatically be a fail. You should use common language or common knowledge to know that the word most likely to be irrelevant in this gap is school. So you're going to write Angela Junior, not Angela Junior School. Got me? Okay. Beware of how answers are supposed to be. E.g., instead of a word or a sentence, answer could be A, B, C, D, and vice versa. What does this point mean? This point means that sometimes the instructions of a section can be, quote unquote, your answer should be A, B, C, D. In the sense that A is maybe school, B is classroom, C is Nairobi, D is Machakos. But instead of you writing Machakos or Nairobi as the answers, you should write A. As if A is Nairobi, you should not write Nairobi, you should write A. If B is Machakos, you should not write Machakos as the answer, you should write B. So, in the case that your section has instructed you to write A as the answer, or B as the answer, or C as the answer, or D as the answer, please take note of that and do not go writing Nairobi or Machakos or school or classroom as the answers. This is because you're automatically going to fail, because the format of the answer should be in A, B, C, D and not in word format. This is something that I've seen a couple of people failing. You get the correct answer. Maybe the correct answer is school, which is choice A. Instead of writing choice A, you write school, and that's an automatic fail. This is actually very crucial in a paper-based type of exam. This is because in computer-based, at least you can drag your answer to the box and then automatically it's going to write A as the answer. But in paper-based, since you have to write it down, you might find out that you've written school as the answer and not A as the answer. So please take note of this. But these are mistakes that you may really observe once you do the practice tests. You're just going to note them down. If you see that was the reason you failed a certain question, you write down the reason was wrong format. And then in your next practice test, you make sure that you've not done the same mistake once more. Be very aware of answer sequence. This should be noted before the audio begins. It might really cost you. What does answer sequence mean? Answer question sequence mean? This actually is very crucial in a table kind of question type. This is because sometimes you see the way rows and columns are arranged. Instead of the questions being vertical, you might find out that the questions are horizontal. This means that instead of being 30, for example, it's a table with rows. I don't know if this is going to be visually pleasing, but it's a table with rows. Instead of being 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, it's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I hope that makes sense. Instead of being 13 in this row, in this column, and then 14 in this column, 15 in this column, 15 in that column, and so on, it's 13 in this column, 14 in the same column, 15 in the same column, 16 in the next column. So note of the sequence of the questions, like how they are placed. They might be placed like this, or like this, like this, like this, like this. I hope you've understood, but we are going to point that down in the practice tests. Yes, but always note the sequence of the questions. This is always in table format types of questions, but in this paragraph-like kind of questions, that is not very important because they're usually in order, like this. Yes. Okay, as we wind up, NB, you could watch BBC News, Britain presenters to familiarize with the accent of the British people. You could also watch British TED Talks. As we had said before, 85 to 90% of the audio in the listening test is usually in British accent. And sometimes not many of us who are familiar with the British accent. So it might take you time to get used to the British accent. So even as you carry out practice tests to understand the accent, you can also supplement this by watching TED Talks on YouTube. You can listen to BBC News. You can watch British movies with people talking in British accent. You can make a friend maybe in the time period, or if you have a British friend, you can talk to them more often. Yes. So guys, we've come to the end of this class. Yes, I hope you found it very educative, and I really can't wait to see you in my next class, where we are going to be talking about mistakes and errors to look out for in your listening exam test. Okay guys, bye.